All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're
Oh,
going to be looking at a really interesting career today.
okay.
One that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you out there.
Interesting.
We're going to be looking at the career of a philosopher.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to be doing that by taking a deep dive into RoleCatcher's Philosopher Career Guide and Philosopher Interview Guide.
I like those guides.
Um, and we're going to be looking at, like, what does a philosopher actually do?
Yeah.
How do you prepare for a job interview
Right.
for this particular career?
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of give you some insider knowledge
Great.
and also see how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that secret edge that might help you land the job.
Okay, great.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
The first thing I wanted to ask is,
Okay.
what does a philosopher actually do?
Well, I think that's a great question. And
Like when you tell people, oh, I'm a philosopher,
yeah,
what kind of,
they kind of look at you weird.
yeah, what do you actually do? Like, do you just
Yeah.
sit around all day and think deep thoughts?
I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the whole picture,
Yeah.
right?
What does the career guide say?
Well, the career guide actually defines it
Okay.
as study and argument over general and structural problems
Okay.
pertaining to society, humans, and individuals.
That is a mouthful.
Yeah, that's what I like it. So it's not just about abstract thought experiments.
Right.
It's really about applying philosophical principles to real-world issues.
Okay, so it's not all theoretical. There's some
Exactly.
practical applications.
Right, and
Okay,
that's what I
come on.
think is so exciting about this field.
So can you give me some examples of,
Sure.
like, the different areas
Yeah,
a philosopher might work in?
absolutely. So, I mean, one classic area is academia,
Right.
where you might be teaching courses,
Okay.
conducting research, writing books and articles.
Yeah.
But beyond academia, there are actually a lot of other options. Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah.
you might find philosophers working as ethicists in hospitals
Okay.
or in tech companies,
Interesting.
grappling with the ethical implications of artificial intelligence.
Right.
You might find them working as consultants,
Oh,
helping
that-
organizations think through complex problems.
Right.
So it's really a field that's much broader
Yeah.
than people often realize.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, the career guide also doesn't shy away from
Sure,
the
sure.
pros and cons
Exactly.
of the career.
Yeah.
And it's important that we discuss this right up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one of the biggest things that stood out to me as a pro
Okay.
is the intellectual stimulation.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Like if
analytics.
you are someone who loves to think
Absolutely.
and loves
to question
to
that
read, to analyze,
This is the field for you.
this is the field for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think
think
that's the beauty of philosophy is that it really is about constantly engaging with ideas
Okay.
and challenging your own assumptions.
Yeah. But we have to be realistic.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some cons.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump right into those
Okay.
because I think it's important that people understand this.
Right.
Limited job opportunities.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very competitive field.
High competition.
High competition.
And unfortunately, the pay,
right.
the potentially low pay.
Yeah. It's not always
Yeah.
the most lucrative career path.
Yeah.
I think it's important to be upfront about that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not necessarily going to be
Right.
making a fortune as a philosopher.
Right. But if it's something that you're passionate about,
Exactly.
there's ways to.
Yeah. You find a
build it
way.
from
You
work.
find a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true for any passion.
So let's say I'm ready. I'm passionate about philosophy.
Right.
I'm ready to apply.
Okay.
I want to jump into this philosopher interview guide
Yeah.
and like see what I'm up against.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's look at some of those questions.
One of the first things that stood out to me
Okay.
in the functions and core abilities section
Yeah.
of the career guide was the importance of strong writing skills.
Yeah. That's essential.
71%.
71% essential. Who knew?
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Right.
Right. Philosophers spend a lot of time
Yeah.
crafting arguments, constructing theories,
Yeah.
communicating complex ideas.
Yeah.
And all of that requires
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
concise,
Persuasive writing.
persuasive writing. Exactly.
So that 71% makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. It
Yeah.
underscores the importance
Yeah.
of being able to express your ideas
Mm-hmm.
effectively.
Whether it's through written work or even in teaching and discussions.
Okay, so strong writing skills,
Essential.
essential.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's jump into these
Yeah.
interview questions.
Let's do it. Yeah.
The interview guide provides 8 sample questions.
Okay.
So I think for the sake of time,
Right.
we'll cover about 4 of them today
Okay, sounds good.
and kind of break down what the interviewer is looking for, give you some sample answers.
Great.
All right, so the first question is,
Okay.
what inspired you to pursue philosophy as a career?
Okay, that's a good one.
This seems like a pretty straightforward question,
Right.
but I can see how it could trip someone up.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's more than just a surface level question.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
The interviewer wants to see your passion,
Right.
your genuine interest in philosophy.
And not just like
Yeah.
a name drop of a famous philosopher.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's not enough to just say, "Oh, I love Socrates."
Yeah.
You need to go deeper than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what kind of things should we be thinking about when answering this question?
Well, I think one helpful approach is to think about your own philosophical journey.
Okay.
You know, was there a particular book or a teacher
Yeah.
or even a life experience that
Yeah.
sparked your curiosity? And
Yep.
how did that initial spark evolve into a deeper passion for philosophy? So, maybe you read Sartre's Being and Nothingness in college.
Okay.
And blew your mind.
Yeah.
Or maybe you had a professor who challenged your assumptions
Yeah.
and made you see the world in a new way.
Okay, so we need to show
Yeah.
how these experiences connect with us personally.
Exactly. It's about making it personal,
Right.
showing your own unique story,
Okay.
and how that story led you to philosophy.
And how does that tie into
Right, yeah.
my career aspirations?
Well, that's a great point.
Yeah.
The interviewer also wants to see that you have a sense of direction, that
Yeah.
you're not just interested in philosophy in the abstract,
Yeah.
but that you have specific goals and
Mhm.
aspirations for your career.
So how do those early influences
Right.
shape my current goals?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, maybe your fascination with existentialism
Okay.
led you to an interest in the philosophy of mind, and
Yeah.
you see yourself pursuing research in
Yeah.
that area.
Okay.
Or maybe your experience working with marginalized communities
Yep.
sparked an interest in social and political philosophy.
Okay.
So it's about
Yeah.
connecting the dots
Yeah.
between your past experiences and
Yeah.
your future aspirations.
And I see a potential follow-up question brewing here.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you see your philosophy career heading?
Exactly.
Right.
That's a classic follow-up.
Yeah.
And it's a chance to really elaborate on
Yeah,
those
that-
specific goals
Yeah.
and aspirations that we were just talking about.
Okay, so let's hear a sample answer
Okay,
for
sure.
this first question.
Yeah. Let's see.
That really showcases both passion and direction.
How about this? My fascination with philosophy actually began
Okay.
when I stumbled upon Camus's The Myth of Sisyphus in college.
Okay.
His exploration of the absurd and the search for meaning
Yeah.
in a seemingly meaningless world profoundly impacted me.
Yeah?
It made me realize that philosophy wasn't just an intellectual exercise.
Right.
It was a way of grappling with the fundamental questions
Yeah.
of human existence.
I like that.
Since then, I've been drawn to existentialism and the philosophy of meaning, and I see my career as an opportunity
Yeah.
to explore these complex themes further, potentially through research and teaching.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It really highlights that personal connection.
Right.
Explains how it sparked a deeper interest.
Yeah.
And then outlines
Yes,
some
exhibit.
potential career aspirations.
Yeah. It gives a good overview
Yeah.
of the journey and where it's headed.
I think that's a great start.
Yeah.
Um,
And you can tailor it.
and obviously anyone listening can adapt that
Adapt it to your own story.
with their own experiences.
But the key is to demonstrate
yeah.
that
Yeah.
genuine passion and a well-defined direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Great.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
That's good.
This one is a real brain teaser.
Okay.
What do you consider to be the most important philosophical question of our time?
Wow. That's a tough one.
Whoa, how do you even choose?
It's like,
Yeah,
it's almost impossible
Right.
to pick just one.
yeah, because there are so many
Right.
like big questions.
Exactly. And they're all interconnected,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to isolate one
Yeah.
as the most important.
So what is the interviewer actually looking for here?
I think they're trying to assess your understanding of current philosophical debates.
Okay.
Are you aware of the big questions that are being grappled with today?
Yeah.
And they're also looking at your ability to think critically
Okay.
and justify your position.
So I can't just say
Right.
the meaning of life and call it a day.
I mean, you could,
Okay.
but it needs more context.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Why is that the most important question to you? What
Yeah.
are the implications of that question?
Okay, so I need to kind of connect it to
Connect it to
current
yeah.
events or
Right. to the world we're living in.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
So, for example,
Yeah.
you could talk about the ethical implications of artificial intelligence.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's say I choose
Yeah.
the ethical implications of artificial intelligence.
Right.
What kind of points should I be making?
Well, first, I think it's important to explain why you consider it important. You know, is it the potential impact on human autonomy? The question of responsibility
Yeah.
in algorithmic decision-making?
Yeah.
Connect it to broader philosophical concepts.
I like it.
Like agency,
Right.
morality,
Yeah.
or even the definition of consciousness itself.
Okay, so I need to really
You need to
dig into,
dig into the complexity
Yeah.
of the issue.
and I can already feel those follow-up questions
Yeah, they're coming.
brewing.
Yeah.
Like, how would you approach this question
Right.
from a utilitarian perspective?
Exactly.
Or which philosophers have influenced your thinking on this issue?
Yeah, they want to see if you can engage
Okay.
with different philosophical frameworks and
Yeah.
show the breadth and depth of your knowledge.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they want to
They
know
don't want to see
that you
that-
can think
yeah.
on your feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that you can
Okay.
connect your ideas to different schools of thought.
All right, so let's hear a sample answer for this one.
Sure.
That really, like, digs into that
Yeah.
complexity.
How about this? In our age of rapid technological advancement,
Okay.
I believe the most pressing philosophical question is how to ensure
Yeah.
the ethical development and implementation of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
As AI systems become increasingly integrated into our lives,
Yeah.
we're faced with unprecedented moral dilemmas,
Right.
questions of algorithmic bias,
Right.
the potential for job displacement,
Yeah.
and even the possibility of AI sentience demand, rigorous philosophical consideration.
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in applying the principles of virtue ethics,
Okay.
this challenge, ensuring that AI development aligns with human flourishing
Right.
and promotes values like justice, compassion, and responsibility.
That's a powerful response.
Yeah.
It really lays out.
Yeah, it sets the stage,
Yeah.
and it gives a specific framework
Right.
to approach the question.
And it leaves the door open
Exactly.
to further discussion.
Yeah, it's not a closed answer.
Right. Which is what you want.
Right, it invites further conversation.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
Great.
Now, before we jump into the next question,
All right,
I want to highlight something from the career guide
sure.
that I thought was really cool.
Okay.
It talks about the importance
Yeah,
of gaining hands-on experience
right.
even before you land a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
So how can you be a philosopher
right.
without having a job as a philosopher?
I think that's a common question.
Right.
And the guide suggests some really great things,
Okay.
like joining philosophy clubs,
Okay.
participating in philosophical discussions.
So even just like online forums?
Yeah, even online forums. Yeah,
Oh.
it's about immersing yourself
Okay.
in the philosophical community,
Right.
engaging with different ideas.
So just start talking.
Start talking.
Philosophy.
Yeah, and that's a great way to kind of hone your skills
Yeah.
and get comfortable expressing your thoughts.
All right. So we've got some practical tips there.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's jump back into the hot seat with
Uh-huh.
another interview question.
All right.
Question number 3
Yeah.
is, how do you approach ethical dilemmas in your work as a philosopher?
Okay, that's a good word.
This seems particularly relevant,
Yeah, definitely. It
Well,
is because
given the complex issues philosophers
it kind of
grapple
fits at
with.
the heart of
Yeah.
a lot of philosophical inquiry.
Well, what are they looking for?
They want to see more than just reciting ethical theories.
Okay, so I can't just talk about, like,
You need to be
utilitarianism or
deeper than that.
deontology.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to see
Right.
how you apply those principles
Oh,
in a nuanced way,
okay.
recognizing that real-world situations
Right.
are often messy.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray area.
There's a lot of gray area.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not always black and white.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe, like, a hypothetical scenario
Oh, that's a good idea.
would be helpful here.
Yeah, hypothetical can really illustrate your
Yeah.
thought process.
Okay, so let's say I'm asked to consult on a case
Okay.
involving autonomous vehicles,
All right. Yeah.
and there's an unavoidable accident.
Oh, wow. That's a That's a tough one.
Like, who does the AI choose to harm?
Right. That's a classic ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do I even begin to...
Right. So when you're answering that,
Yeah.
it's important to kind of outline your decision-making process.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So would you prioritize certain ethical frameworks?
Okay.
Like, would you lean towards utilitarianism
Right.
or deontology?
Yeah.
Would you consider potential consequences,
Yep.
the perspectives of different stakeholders,
Right.
and importantly, be transparent about the limitations of any single approach?
Okay, so acknowledge that.
Acknowledge that.
There's not always a perfect solution.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's about navigating those complexities.
And I'm sure the follow-up questions will be intense too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, how do you reconcile conflicting ethical principles
Right, exactly.
in a situation like this?
No, that's a good one.
Or maybe, what are the limits of ethical reasoning
Right.
in such a complex scenario?
Yeah, those are really getting at the heart of it.
Yeah, okay.
They want to see how you think critically
Right.
about ethical ambiguity.
Okay, so let's hear a sample answer that kind of showcases this thoughtful approach.
Okay, how about this? When facing ethical dilemmas,
Okay.
I strive for a balanced approach
Okay.
that integrates ethical principles with a pragmatic understanding of the situation.
Okay.
I might start by analyzing the dilemma through various ethical lenses, such as utilitarianism, deontology, and virtue ethics, to assess the strengths and weaknesses of each approach.
Okay.
Then I'd consider the specific context,
Right.
potential consequences, and the perspectives of involved stakeholders.
Yeah.
While I recognize the value of ethical frameworks,
Yeah.
I also acknowledge that real-world dilemmas often demand flexibility
Right.
and a willingness to engage in nuanced, open-minded dialogue.
Okay, so it's really about
Yeah, it's
weighing all those different factors.
exactly,
Yeah.
and being open
Yeah.
to different perspectives.
And I like how it emphasizes that ethical reasoning isn't always about
It's not about finding the perfect solution.
finding that perfect solution.
Yeah, it's about navigating
Yeah.
that complexity.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the next question,
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight something,
Sure.
again, from the career guide
Okay.
that I thought was really cool.
Okay.
Did you know there are 4 stages
Oh, I didn't know that.
to a philosopher's career?
Interesting.
You start as an apprentice,
Wow.
then you move to junior philosopher,
Okay.
then a philosopher,
Okay.
and finally, you reach the level of senior philosopher.
I love those titles.
I know.
Apprentice philosopher.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So you're always learning.
Right. You're always
Yeah.
like leveling up.
Exactly. It's like a video game.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, but for the mind.
But for the mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Great.
All right, are you ready for question number 4?
Hit me with it.
Okay, this one is, how do you stay current with developments in the field of philosophy?
That's an important one.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a big field.
It is a vast field.
Yeah. There's always new research coming out,
Always new books.
new books,
Yeah.
new theories.
It's constantly evolving.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you keep up with all of that?
Right. So I think the interviewer is really trying to gauge your commitment to lifelong learning.
Okay.
You know, are you someone who is actively engaged
Right.
with the field?
So it's not enough to just say,
Yeah.
I read books.
Well, reading is definitely part of it,
Okay.
but they want to see a more proactive approach.
Okay.
You know?
So like, what would that be?
So are you attending conferences?
Uh-huh.
Are you subscribing to journals? Are you participating in online forums?
So like, do I need to name drop specific journals?
It can be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a devoted reader
Right.
of the Philosophical Review.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, or I never miss
Yeah.
the annual meeting of the American Philosophical Association.
Okay, so name drop?
Yeah. Name drop some key sources
But connect them to my,
to your interests.
okay,
Yeah.
areas of interest.
Exactly. So it's not just about
Yeah.
showing that you're aware of these things.
Right.
It's about showing how they connect to your own work.
Okay.
Right.
And obviously, be ready for those follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah. There will be follow-ups.
Right.
For sure.
Like, what recent philosophical work has particularly interested you and why?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or how do you filter the vast amount of information
Right.
available and focus on what's truly relevant?
Exactly. They want to see that
Yeah.
you can be discerning,
Okay.
that you can sift through all the noise and
Yeah.
identify the most valuable information.
Okay. So let's hear
Yeah.
answer that kind of showcases
Okay.
that breadth and
Yeah.
depth of
Yeah.
engagement.
How about this? I stay current with developments in philosophy
Okay.
by utilizing a combination of traditional and digital resources.
Okay.
I subscribe to journals like the Philosophical Quarterly
Okay.
and the Journal of Ethics,
Yeah.
which cover a wide range of topics
Yeah.
relevant to my interests in meta-ethics and applied ethics.
Oh, okay.
I also find online platforms like the Daily News and Philosopher's Digest to be valuable for staying informed about current debates and emerging trends.
Yeah.
Additionally, I attend conferences like the Pacific APA meeting to engage with cutting-edge research and connect with other scholars.
Okay, so that really gives a well-rounded...
Yeah, it shows a multifaceted approach. It does. Yeah. It really does. Shows that you're not just relying on one source.
Right.
Yeah, you're getting it from multiple places.
Yeah, you're engaging with the field in a variety of ways.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, before we jump into the next question, let's talk about something really exciting.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is where it gets really interesting.
So we've talked about how important it is to tailor your CV for a specific job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help you do that. It can.
But it can also help you tailor your answers to interview questions.
Exactly. Yeah.
So explain to me how that works.
Yeah. So basically, it sounds like magic. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So RoleCatcher's AI has been trained on a massive amount of data.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Job descriptions, interview questions, successful answers. And so when you input your own responses, the AI can compare them to this data.
Right.
And it can identify patterns.
Okay.
And it can suggest ways to improve your answers.
Okay. So it's not just about sounding smart.
Right. It's not just about...
It's about
the word.
Communicating effectively.
Exactly. It's about clarity, conciseness, impact.
And aligning your message with the specific job.
Exactly. It's tailoring your responses to the specific role.
Okay, so it's like having a personalized guide.
It is, yeah. Like having a coach in your pocket.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back into these questions.
Let's do it.
This one is a bit more specific.
Okay.
What are your current research interests in epistemology?
All right, so this is where you get to really dive into your area of expertise.
Okay, so this is where I get to, like, nerd out.
Yeah, turd out, exactly. Yeah. This is your chance to shine.
Okay, so I can't just say I'm interested in knowledge.
No, you got to be more specific than that.
Okay, so what kind of things should I be thinking about?
Well, what are the specific areas within epistemology that really fascinate you?
Okay.
Right. Is it the nature of justification?
Okay.
The problem of skepticism?
Yeah.
The relationship between knowledge and belief?
Okay.
You know, think of those. The more specific, the better.
The more specific, the better. Yeah, because it shows a depth of knowledge.
And I'm assuming there will be those follow-up questions. Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, can you elaborate on your research methodology? Or which contemporary epistemologists have influenced your thinking?
So they want to know.
Yeah, they want to see.
Like who I'm reading.
Exactly. Yeah, who are you engaging with?
All right, so let's hear a sample answer that really digs into that.
Okay, how about this? My current research interests in epistemology center around the concept of social knowledge and its implications for understanding collective responsibility. I'm particularly interested in exploring how groups can be said to know something, even when individual members might not possess that knowledge.
Right.
This relates to questions of testimony, trust, and the role of expertise in shaping our beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm drawing upon the work of philosophers like Miranda Fricker and Alvin Goldman, who have made significant contributions to this area of social epistemology.
That's a great example. It really highlights.
It gives a specific focus.
Yeah, a very specific area of interest.
Yeah, and it connects it to broader questions.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to question number 9.
Right.
This one is, how would you describe your teaching style?
Okay, so this one's all about pedagogy.
Right, so how I approach teaching?
Exactly.
Okay, so what are they looking for here?
They want to see your passion for teaching.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Your commitment to creating an engaging and effective learning environment.
So I can't just say,
yeah,
I'm a good teacher.
You got to go deeper than that, right?
Okay.
What are the principles that guide your teaching?
Okay, so what are some things I should be thinking about?
Well, think about the methods you use, okay? The classroom dynamics you foster.
Okay.
the overall learning experience you're trying to create.
Right, like what's my philosophy?
Exactly. What's your philosophy of education?
Okay,
So are you a Socratic dialogue enthusiast?
okay.
Do you prefer interactive lectures?
Right, yeah.
Small group discussions?
Yeah, and what are some of those follow-up questions?
Right. Oh, they'll definitely ask follow-ups.
They might ask about specific techniques.
Exactly. Like, how do you encourage student participation? How do you assess student understanding?
So they really want to know.
They want to get a sense of your concrete practices.
Okay, so let's hear a sample answer that kind of showcases this.
All right, how about this? My teaching style is rooted in the belief that learning should be an active and collaborative process.
I like that.
I strive to create a classroom environment that encourages open dialogue, critical thinking, and intellectual exploration.
Yeah.
I often employ Socratic questioning techniques to challenge assumptions and stimulate deeper engagement with the material.
Right.
I also believe in incorporating diverse perspectives and learning styles into my teaching. Right.
I might use a mix of lectures, small group discussions, or even creative projects to cater to different learning preferences and keep students actively involved in the learning process.
Oh, okay, so it's really about
it's about
active learning.
Yeah, keeping students engaged, making it a dynamic experience.
Okay, and I like how it also highlights
the
different learning styles.
Exactly, You want to create an inclusive environment.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, before we jump into the next question, I wanted to highlight something else from the career guide.
Okay.
It emphasizes the importance of networking.
Oh, networking. That's crucial.
Okay.
Yeah. So
especially in philosophy.
Yeah, like how do you network as a philosopher?
Well, I think
what does that even look like?
It's about being part of the community.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Attending conferences, joining professional organizations, meeting other philosophers.
Right. So it's not just about
it's not just about
submitting applications online.
Right. It's about building those personal connections.
Okay.
You know?
And why is that so important?
Well, I think in philosophy especially, those connections can lead to collaborations, mentorship opportunities, even job prospects.
Right, because it's a small field.
It's a relatively small field, yeah.
Yeah.
So knowing people can really make a difference.
Okay, so networking.
Networking is key.
Key.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to those interview questions.
Not bad.
This one is a big one.
Okay.
How do you reconcile the tension between free will and determinism?
Whoa, that's a classic.
Right?
Yeah, that's a deep one.
This is like...
That gets to the heart of a lot of philosophical debates.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a question that every philosopher has thought about.
Yeah. I mean,
at some point.
I'm sure they've lost sleep over it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
what are they really looking for here?
Yeah. What are they looking for?
I think they're trying to assess your ability to handle complex ideas, to articulate nuanced arguments, to think critically.
So it's not about finding...
Right. There's no right answer.
Yeah, right answer.
Right. There's no easy solution to this problem.
Okay.
It's been debated for centuries.
Right. So I just need to show that I...
Yeah, show that you understand
the nuances
of the debate.
Okay.
That you can engage with the arguments.
And I'm sure there will be follow-up questions.
Plenty of follow-ups.
Yeah.
Like, what are the implications of your view for moral responsibility?
Okay.
How does your position on free will relate to your overall philosophical outlook?
So they want to know how this fits into my broader...
Your broader philosophical framework.
Okay.
All right, so let's hear a sample answer.
Yeah. It really, tackles this head on.
Okay, how about this? The tension between free will and determinism is a profound philosophical problem that has occupied thinkers for centuries.
Right.
While I find the arguments for determinism compelling, I also believe that human experience points to a certain degree of agency and freedom.
Okay.
I'm drawn to compatibilist views that attempt to reconcile free will with a deterministic universe, suggesting that freedom can exist within the constraints of causal laws.
Right.
I believe that while our choices may be influenced by factors beyond our control, we still possess the capacity to act intentionally and take responsibility for our actions.
Okay, so it's kind of like a middle ground.
Yeah, it's kind of a nuanced approach. It's not taking a hard line on either other side.
It leaves room for discussion.
Exactly. It's an invitation to further explore the issue.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to the final question in this section, I want to, again, circle back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yeah, the AI.
Because this is like...
Yeah, it's a game changer.
A game changer.
It really is.
So we've talked about how it can tailor our CVs.
Right.
It can give us feedback on our answers.
Yeah.
But can you give me a concrete example of how this AI feedback might work?
Absolutely. So let's go back to that sample answer.
Okay.
About free will and determinism.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine you input that response into RoleCatcher's AI.
Okay.
It might suggest adding a sentence like this.
Okay.
I'm particularly interested in exploring the implications of compatibilism for criminal justice reform as it challenges traditional notions of punishment and culpability.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah, it brings in...
It connects it to a real-world issue.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So it's showing that you're not just thinking about these things in the abstract. You're thinking about how they apply to real-world situations.
And let's say I was applying for a teaching position.
Right.
What kind of feedback?
Yeah, so in that case...
might the AI give?
The AI might suggest adding something like, in my classroom, I would use this debate to encourage students to think critically about the nature of choice and responsibility, fostering lively discussions and challenging them to examine their own assumptions.
Okay, so it's
tailoring it.
It's tailoring it to the specific role.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, it's really powerful. Yeah. It's really helpful.
Okay, all right. So we're on to the final question in this section.
Okay, bring it on.
What is your favorite philosophical text and why?
Oh, that's a fun one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't love?
Talking about their favorite book.
Favorite philosophy book.
Right.
Yeah, but it's more than just a fun question.
Okay, so what are they really looking for?
I think they want to get a sense of your intellectual passions, your philosophical influences, and even your personality.
Okay, so I can't just choose a book.
It's not just about
summarize it.
Summarizing the plot.
Right.
Right. Yeah. You got to go deeper.
Okay, so what are some things I should be thinking about?
Well, think about what drew you to this text.
Okay.
Was it a particular argument?
Right.
A thought-provoking idea?
Okay.
A beautiful passage?
Yeah.
And how did this text impact your own philosophical journey? You know?
Yeah.
How did it shape your thinking?
And I'm sure they'll ask some follow-up questions like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
How has this text influenced your own thinking?
Exactly.
Right. Or what are some of the key takeaways you've gleaned from this work?
Yeah, they want to see that you've really engaged with the text, that it's had a meaningful impact on you.
All right, so let's hear a sample answer that kind of showcases that personal connection.
Okay, how about this? My favorite philosophical text is Simone de Beauvoir's The Ethics of Ambiguity.
Yeah.
It's a work that has profoundly shaped my understanding of freedom, responsibility, and the complexities of human existence.
Okay.
Beauvoir's exploration of the tensions between our freedom to choose and the constraints of our social and historical circumstances resonated deeply with me. Her call for us to embrace our freedom while acknowledging the responsibility that comes with it has been a guiding principle in my own life and work.
So it's not just about...
Yeah, it's not just
comprising the book.
Yeah, it's about connecting it to your own values.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's showing how the text has shaped you as a person and as a philosopher.
All right, that was a whirlwind tour.
It was, wasn't it?
Of some more challenging...
challenging questions.
But I feel like we've given our listeners
hopefully
great...
Yeah, I think we've provided some valuable insights and strategies.
Yeah, we'll be back soon.
Yes, we will.
To tackle those final few questions.
Yeah, wait.
And, of course, explore
more AI magic.
More of that AI magic.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive. It's been a fascinating journey so far.
It really has, and I'm feeling so much more prepared for that philosophy job interview, thanks to RoleCatcher's guides and all these amazing insights you've been sharing.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And remember, we still have RoleCatcher's AI to explore, which can provide those finishing touches and help us really stand out from the competition.
Right, that AI magic is like having a secret weapon in our philosophical arsenal. So let's unpack that a bit more. Can you give me some specific examples of how that AI feedback might help me refine my answers?
Absolutely. Let's imagine you're answering the question about incorporating diversity and inclusivity into your teaching, and you've given a solid response highlighting your efforts to create an inclusive classroom. But RoleCatcher's AI might suggest adding a sentence like, I also regularly attend workshops and conferences focused on inclusive pedagogy to stay current on best practices.
Oh, I see. That's subtle but powerful.
Yeah.
It shows that I'm not just talking the talk, but I'm actively seeking ways to improve my teaching and create a more welcoming learning environment.
Exactly. It demonstrates a commitment to continuous learning and growth, which is highly valued in academia.
Okay, what about the question about my favorite philosophical text? How could the AI help me enhance my answer there?
Let's say you've eloquently explained your connection to Simone de Beauvoir's The Ethics of Ambiguity. The AI might suggest adding a sentence like, I often incorporate this text into my teaching as it sparks lively discussions and encourages students to grapple with fundamental ethical questions.
Wow, that's a brilliant addition. It connects my personal passion to my teaching practice and highlights my ability to engage students with challenging material.
Exactly. It adds another layer to your answer, demonstrating your pedagogical skills and your ability to bring philosophical concepts to life in the classroom.
RoleCatcher's AI is seriously impressive. It's like having a personal philosophy coach helping me craft the most effective and impactful responses.
It really is a game changer for job seekers, providing tailored feedback that aligns with specific job requirements.
Okay, let's tackle a couple more questions. This next one asks about my experience working with students from diverse backgrounds.
This is crucial. As institutions prioritize diversity and inclusion, be prepared to share specific examples of how you've created inclusive learning environments, supported students from underrepresented groups, and fostered a sense of belonging in your classroom.
So it's not enough to simply state that I value diversity.
Yeah.
I need to showcase my commitment through concrete actions and experiences.
Precisely. Highlight specific initiatives you've been involved in, mentorship programs you've participated in, or even personal interactions with students that demonstrate your sensitivity to diverse backgrounds and perspectives.
And of course, I should be ready for those follow-up questions, like how do you address issues of microaggressions in the classroom? Or what resources do you recommend for students who might feel marginalized or excluded?
You're right on target. They want to see evidence that you've not only thought about these issues, but that you have practical strategies for creating a truly inclusive and welcoming learning environment.
Okay, let's hear a sample answer that showcases a genuine commitment to diversity and inclusion.
How about this? In my previous teaching experience at a diverse community college, I made a conscious effort to create an inclusive classroom culture. I started each semester by having students share their preferred names and pronouns, signaling my respect for their identities. I also incorporated diverse readings and perspectives into my syllabus, ensuring representation of various philosophical traditions and lived experiences. Additionally, I held regular office hours and made myself available to students who needed extra support or guidance, recognizing that students from marginalized backgrounds might face unique challenges.
That's a powerful example. It goes beyond simply saying diversity is important and actually outlines concrete steps for creating a more inclusive and equitable learning environment.
Exactly. It demonstrates a proactive and intentional approach to promoting diversity and inclusivity, which is what interviewers are looking for.
Okay, one last question for this deep dive. This one focuses on a practical skill. How comfortable are you with using technology in your teaching and research?
Technology is increasingly integrated into academia, so this question is designed to assess your comfort level with using digital tools and platforms in your work.
So it's not enough to just say, I can use a computer. I need to highlight specific technologies and how I've used them effectively in my teaching or research.
Precisely. Think about learning management systems, online research databases, presentation software, even social media platforms. How have you used these tools to enhance your teaching, facilitate research collaborations, or engage with a broader audience?
I imagine potential follow-up questions might delve into the specific software or platforms, such as, what is your experience with using Zoom for online teaching? Or have you ever used data analysis software for your research?
Exactly. Be prepared to discuss your experiences with specific technologies and how you've leveraged them to achieve your teaching or research goals.
Okay, let's hear a sample answer that showcases a comfortable and confident approach to using technology in academia.
Consider this response. I'm very comfortable using technology in both my teaching and research. I've used learning management systems like Canvas to create interactive online courses, incorporating multimedia content, discussion forums, and online quizzes to enhance student engagement. I'm also proficient in using research databases like JSTOR and PhilPapers to access scholarly articles and stay up to date on the latest philosophical research. Additionally, I've used presentation software like Prezi to create dynamic and engaging presentations for both academic conferences and public lectures.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights specific technologies and demonstrates a clear understanding of how to utilize them effectively in an academic setting.
It shows that you're not afraid to embrace technology as a tool for enhancing your work and engaging with a wider audience.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive, and I have to say I'm feeling incredibly empowered and prepared to tackle that philosophy job interview.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, confidence is key. Showcase your passion, your knowledge, and your unique perspective, and you'll shine.
And to our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this philosophical adventure. We hope you found it valuable and insightful.
Remember, keep those philosophical minds engaged, those applications polished, and don't be afraid to reach out to RoleCatcher for that extra edge.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep philosophizing.